Most people can't help themselves when it comes to Disney. There's just something about it that captures your heart. Magic? But we humans are stubborn, and even if we know that knowing the truth can sometimes ruin the magic, we need to know. And when it comes to Disney, there might be more going on than you might expect. Let's take a look at Disney's horrifying history they don't want the public to find out. First off, no one dies at Disney. There are reports from former Disney employees that there is a policy at Disneyland that you probably don't hear at every company, and that's that no one dies on Disney property. It was also suggested in the book Inside the Mouse, if guests have the nerve to die, they wait, like unwanted calories, until they've crossed the line and can do so safely off the property. Though technically true, this view may be a little harsh though. There are jurisdictions where it is legally obligated to not cease life-saving efforts once they have been started until the person has been transported and taken into the care of a medical facility, even if the person is obviously no longer with us. Not to mention that, given Walt Disney World's relative isolation and extensive grounds, it's vital that people in need of urgent medical attention are transported to a hospital with a helicopter as fast as possible, meaning that it's unlikely that anyone can even be pronounced dead on Disney grounds, which is done by a doctor to begin with. Still, the word is managers are pretty adamant this supposed company policy is actually enforced, and there are stories of staff being told to do whatever it takes to not let someone die in the park, even if it's quite hard for someone to really be pronounced dead in Disney. It seems like management wants to prevent any chances to slip through anyway. Next, except these people. These people died at Disney. Sadly, there have been cases when no company policy or law could prevent a person from dying on Disney property. So yes, people did die on Disney property at a few points in the history of Disney, and most of those deaths have inevitably turned into ghost stories. Of course, an amusement park as big as Disney is going to have some urban legends clinging to it, even if branding and damage control are on point. But some of the stories did really happen. In 1966, Thomas Guy Cleveland tried to sneak into Disney and climbed over a fence along the monorail track. Unfortunately, he was hit by an oncoming train and died. Regina Young died in the Matterhorn in 1984. Nicknamed Dolly, it is said that the girl had unbuckled her seat to help a child, and when she stood up and hit her head on the bridge, she fell off just when they went through a dip in the tracks. She was struck by another bobsled and didn't survive the accident. In 1985, a 7-year-old girl was crushed to death by a bus in the parking lot of Disney. Another girl was crushed in 1974 in America Sings, between the rotating theater wall and the stationary stage, dying from the result. And in 2018, a vehicle tech had somehow gotten stuck underneath the cart he was working on and died. And that's only a few of the 11 stories of people who died on Disney property. Following, never ever break character. To some, working at Disney is the dream summer job, but it's not all pixie dust and funnel cakes working at Disneyland, especially not for the ones who carry the heavy responsibility of making those childhood characters come alive, the biggest responsibility of all. There are strict rules on the way these characters have to look, sound, and respond. Makeup is critically examined before going out, and if you're not one of those suffocating in an overheating big Winnie the Pooh suit or something of the sort, gaining weight at all can be a big problem. This creates a rather toxic environment for employees who put themselves on restrictive diets just to keep their job. For some characters, you even need to be a specific height to be considered for a role. No matter what, characters need to be perfect. And when you're a face character, you can never break character, not even when visitors are being rude. Many employees, most of them female face characters, have spoken about having to deal with sexual harassment while in the park, despite the fact that there is a Disney jail where they could easily put these pirates for an hour or two to think about their life decisions. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss out on the rest of Disney's history that they don't want the public to find out. Did you know that there is an attraction at Disney that was once very dangerous for ducks? And when something looks too real, maybe that's because it is real. What's up with the skeletons in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? We'll let you know in the next part of this video. But first, from amusement park to cemetery, Disneyland is a place of magic and loved by young and old alike, and there's bound to be people that have the wish to be buried in that place where they had some of the most magical days of their lives, or people who want to bury someone else there, and people can be very determined when they want to. So it's definitely not unheard of for people to try and spread the ashes of their loved ones inside a Disney park. One of these occasions was when the family of a sick child that had passed away tried to spread the ashes of the child inside the haunted mansion. There are many reasons why this is not a good idea. That it's illegal to do such a thing is a good one, but the park will clean it up no matter what. And in the case of the haunted mansion, according to staff, the ventilation in there is so so good that the ashes would be completely filtered into the air conditioning system in a matter of hours. Disney's official stance is that there is no spreading of ashes at all, though people do regularly ask. But former workers have confirmed that it happens anyway. Maybe the people who asked first decided to give it a go anyway? It's good to know that even if Disney doesn't want to admit it, no one's child will be confronted with the ashes of someone else's loved one on the vacation of their little dreams. Next, Donald's Nightmare. There's a show in Disneyland, Florida that everyone should see at least once in their life, the nightly phantasmic show of the Rivers of America attraction. What you may not know about its centerpiece is that it has the blood of some of Donald Duck's family on its conscience. In the original version of the show, real-life ducks got roasted alive during the big flaming finale when the dragon sets the river on fire, which is not exactly the kind of magic that you want kids to think about when they get back from their trip to Disneyland. Apparently, whole duck families had found a new and beautiful home in the attraction before it could debut and had to burn for the discovery. These days, the water starts to bubble restlessly not long before there are any flames, so any duck that tries to start a family in the attraction can think better of it. People usually assume the water is there to create a certain effect, but the truth is, no one was thinking about the audience when they came up with the idea to use bubbles in the show. Luckily, it fits the moment, but really, it's to save the ducks. And now, the bones in Pirates of the Caribbean. So, Disney says that they do not allow any kind of burial on Disney property, but there is a story out there that could be used against them, namely the one that says that Disney used real bones in the Caribbean attraction. Except that it's not just a story, it really happened. Back in the 50s and 60s, the fake skeletons that were available were too unconvincing, said Disney producer Jason Surrell, but instead of an obviously fake tableau, visitors were confronted with a scene that was a little bit too realistic, because the skeletons were in fact real skeletons. Instead of trying to make something, there was no good technology yet, they just went for a more organic source. Somehow, they got UCLA to donate the skeletons, and they were used in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride for quite a while. But don't worry, eventually technology caught up with the wishes of Disney, and the skeletons have since been replaced with actual fake skeletons. Everything but one. Inside the captain's quarters treasure room, there's a skeleton in a bed. It's not that one. It's the one you see on the bed above his head. In 2014, it was confirmed by a Disney cast member that that's the last remaining real skull, or so they say. Well, that was it. Do you think you could stay in character if you were one of the face characters of Disney? What do you think about people trying to spread their ashes in the Haunted Mansion? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.